The story opens in a theater, where two men sit apart, but their lives are destined to collide. Benigno, a quiet and devoted nurse, watches intently. Marco, a journalist, is moved to tears by the performance. Neither man knows that the women they love will soon change their lives in ways they could never expect. Marco's journey begins when he sees Lydia, a famous matador, on TV. Fascinated by her strength, he seeks her out for an interview. Their first encounter is cold, with Lydia dismissing Marco's lack of knowledge about bullfighting.
Fue la persona que más me apoyó en este mundo.
But fate has other plans. A terrifying incident involving a snake brings them together, and soon, their relationship blossoms into something more intimate. As Marco and Lydia's relationship grows, a bond forms between them that feels unbreakable. But there's something Lydia is holding back. At a wedding, she hints at a secret she's been keeping from Marco. He doesn't push, believing that after her next bullfight, they will finally talk.
¿No me crees?
No, no es eso.
Me ha costado una década superarlo.
A tragedy strikes before they ever get the chance. During a crucial bullfight, Lydia is gored by a bull and falls into a coma. Devastated, Marco refuses to leave her side at the hospital. His world is shattered, but in his grief, he meets Benigno, a nurse with an unusual connection to his own patient, Alicia.
Me llamo Benigno.
Marcos.
While Marco mourns Lydia, Benigno is obsessed with Alicia, a beautiful dancer who has been in a coma for years. To Benigno, Alicia is not just a patient, she is the love of his life. He talks to her, shows her movies, and fills her room with memories of her past. What Marco doesn't know is that Benigno's affection for Alicia began long before her accident, in a way that would unsettle anyone. Years before Alicia's accident, Benigno had been watching her from afar, his obsession growing each day. When Alicia dropped her wallet, Benigno used the opportunity to introduce himself. What started as a harmless encounter turned into something much darker, as Benigno found ways to be closer to her, even making a false appointment with her psychiatrist father to get into her home. Back at the hospital, Marco was confronted with a heartbreaking revelation. Lydia had planned to return to her ex, El Niño de Rivera. She had intended to tell Marco after the bullfight, but the chance never came. Now, Marco was left alone again, mourning a relationship that was never truly his. Meanwhile, Benigno's obsession with Alicia deepens. He tells Marco of his plans to marry her, despite her being in a coma. Marco, alarmed by his friend's delusion, tries to reason with him. But Benigno is convinced that Alicia understands him, that she is still alive in ways no one else can see. Then, something unthinkable happens. Alicia, the comatose dancer, is discovered to be pregnant. Hospital staff are baffled, and soon suspicion falls on Benigno, who had been caring for her all this time. He is arrested for the unimaginable crime of assaulting a patient, but Benigno's love for Alicia remains unwavering. Marco, now shattered by the loss of Lydia, returns from his travels to visit Benigno in prison. His friend, once so full of hope, is now desperate and asks Marco to find out what happened to Alicia. Staying in Benigno's apartment, Marco uncovers the truth. Alicia has awakened from her coma. But the news comes too late for Benigno. Tragically, Benigno never learns that Alicia has recovered. He takes his own life, believing he has lost her forever. Meanwhile, Alicia begins the long journey of rehabilitation, learning to walk and dance once more. But the weight of Benigno's obsessive love lingers in the air. The film ends where it began, in the theater. Marco and Alicia cross paths once again, but now their connection is different. What they have lost and what they have gained remains unspoken. It's a story of love, obsession, and the invisible threads that bind us, even in the silence. If you want to know how this intense showdown ends, you'll have to watch the movie. Thanks for tuning in to Sven Review.